Thank you. Shinobi, it means to conceal, to hide. In this situation, there's the enemy coming in from his right. So Ross, go ahead and start. He draws out his blade. He hides the sword next to the saya, the scabbard. The enemy comes in, thinks the sword is in the scabbard, but it's not. He suddenly cuts him and brings him down. Then he does chiburi, cleaning the blade. Now, as aggressive as this art looks, it's not aggressive. The purpose of Iaido is to protect human life, not to take a human life, to protect a human life. All right, from here, let's do kaishaku. Kaishaku is an executioner's technique, and in some time in the samurai's life, he might have to perform this ritual to help eliminate an enemy, or maybe someone who has committed a wrongdoing in the court. Either way, this is a very important technique that he had to learn. A kaishaku translates out to like a dueling match with pistols. The second is probably equivalent to it. So this is kaishaku. Because there is a man sitting down with his head bent over, who's maybe just about to commit harakiri, the kaishaku would then cut off the head to save him pain, believe it or not. So what he does now is he's measuring where the neck would be. He then positions himself. He doesn't have to have a lot of movement, so his cutting as precise as it can be. Cuts off the head, cleans the blade. And this is called noto, returning the sword back to the scabbard. Notice we never look at the mouth of the scabbard. We do it all by feel. The Japanese was the only country ever to invent this kind of technique. Now from here we're going to go into a technique called Sarusawa no Suki. Sarusawa no Suki means the moon of the Monkey River. It's actually a pond in Nara, and the reason it was given this strange name was so the enemy, the teki, would not recognize what the technique was about. So by giving this an unusual name, enemy can't figure out what it means. He draws his blade out, stabs the man. Notice he turns the blade sideways. That's to go through the ribs. All these techniques are very short-lived. It's like the Western gunslinger. He draws out his gun, shoots, puts a gun back. It's the same thing. And I'll have Ross do one more, Chiyo no Sabaki. In Chiyo no Sabaki, Matt, maybe you could be in front. Turn sideways there. Ross, if you turn sideways so the audience could see. The enemy, the teki, reaches out and starts to choke him. He cuts the wrist and the head. Cleans the blade and returns the sword back. Now, I'll have Ross do that again without Matt in the way, and then you can see more an idea of what this technique is actually like. Again, what you're seeing is 400 years old. We have not changed it, we cannot change it. So he cuts the wrist, head, cleans the blade, returns the sword back. Like the Western gunslinger, this is all done very fast. But for Iaido practice, quickness is important, but technique is more important. So we really concentrate more on technique. All right, thank you, sir. Okay, now we'll have Matt come up and do some more techniques here for us. So far we've been fighting one enemy, one teki. Now we're going to fight two, and we're going to have him do Inazuma Uchi, the lightning strike. He cuts the first enemy down, cuts the second one, and returns a more fatal cut. Cleans the blade, places it back in the scabbard. From here, I'm going to have Matt do Yanagi Kage no Omote, the shadow of the weeping willow. Unusual name, but again, made to hide the technique so that the outsider wouldn't know what it meant. So the enemy's coming from his right, he blocks his attack, goes through the ribs, and cuts a head and slice. Cleans the blade, back into the scabbard. In the Iaido, we don't have tournaments. That's not the purpose of the Iaido. Karate, judo, kendo, those arts require tournaments. We don't have what's called a shiai, a tournament. We are here just for the discipline of it, to learn this sword art. So no one will ever attack you with a bamboo sword. We don't do that here. These swords are not made for that purpose. Again, we're here to learn a very traditional art and to pass it on. Okay? From here, we're going to do Miki Sodegarami. Miki Sodegarami, now he has 3 enemies. One to the front, to the right, and to the rear. So he's turned his blades upside down, cuts across the chest, brings that man down. Again, going through the ribs. There's a man coming in the back, stabs him, and returns a cut to the man in the front. Cleans the blade and puts it in. Very short, very quick. In Japanese sword fighting, the techniques are done very quick. You ever seen a samurai movie? It's done quickly. You see Western fighting, it's like this, isn't it? They're blocking. It takes quite a while before you kill the man. Not Japanese, no. One cut, that's it. That's the whole purpose. Do it fast, quick, go on to the next victim. All right, from here, let's see. What's... All right, I'm going to do a couple of the more advanced techniques for you. So far, we've been doing the techniques sitting down. I'm going to do a couple of these, what we call tachiwaza, standing techniques. These are done standing up. But before that, I'm going to show you a technique where I use my left hand. So far, we're using right. But let's say, for some reason, I can't use my left hand. The samurai was a very smart person, and he was able to work out different techniques. So I'll show you what to do if I'm sitting down and someone grabs my arm and I can't draw with his hand. Now I'd like to show you a technique that we call tachiwaza, standing techniques. In this case, a man comes up behind me, grabs the saya, the scabbard, and starts lifting it up. This puts me at a disadvantage, but see what I would do. So a man pulls this up, bringing me down. And we'll do one more technique for you. In this case, there's a man, and I'm going down a hallway. I can't draw my sword out this way. The hallway is too narrow. I'll show you what I would do. I was hoping we would be able to do Kenbu for you, Japanese sword dancing, which was another art I was able to learn while living in Japan, but we just don't have the space here. But hopefully next year, since we're going to be here again next year, we can get that ready for you. I think you would like Kenbu, Japanese sword dancing. If you would like to see some, which is a very rare art even in Japan, you can look at our website at kenshindojo.net. I'll be glad to give you the address after our demo. And take a look at it. You'll see our instructor doing sword dancing there.